I like me a nice thin mustache. I like 2 lines right
Fuck
there.
is that?
Called the Pierre. The Pierre mustache. You got that smoke that skin wagon and see what happens.
Right. My arms are white as the son of a bitch. First time I ever done that in my life, though. You know, I've heard it.
On June 26th, Sandra had contacted her family, and she told them that she was going to be going on a solo extended camping trip in the Sierra Forest. They had just noticed that the campsite looked deserted. So the next day, they went ahead and filed the missing persons report. On July 5th, Sandra's vehicle was found, but she wasn't in it. They asked Caden, who was he talking to? What he said sent goosebumps and shivers down his parents' spine. When Victoria turned around and said, Caden, who are you talking to? He told his mom, What's going on? What's going on, late night family? We back in the building. Coming to bring you another exciting episode of Late Night Conversations with Unc and Nephew. I am your host, King J, also known as Nephew, and to my left is my co-host,
JR, Big Unc.
What's up, Big Unc?
Big Unc.
We back in the building, dog.
In this wind.
And this sorry wind.
Man,
this sorry West Texas wind.
Man, it's terrible, dog.
Hey, I'm tired of it, dog. Cali might be calling your boy. Or
Right.
Florida.
Florida? Well,
Somewhere where it's 7.
some fires up there, too.
Oh, yeah, never mind. Before we jump into today's episode, because I got an exciting episode for you today, man. We got a unsolved paranormal missing persons case for
True
today's
crime.
story. It's a true crime. It's still unsolved to this day, but there's a paranormal aspect
That's why I was
to
going to
it.
ask you, what's paranormal about it?
Oh, you'll find out, dog.
Shit.
I can't wait to tell you. It's bro. When I was doing the research for this, it sent chills down my spine. Dog.
It's been a long time since that's happened to me reading anything, and it's got to be really like, oh, shit.
Well, be ready, because today's that day again.
Oh.
But yeah, man, wherever y'all watching y'all's podcast at, man, hit follow, hit subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, man, hit that follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notifications, and punch that bell in the face so you get notified every time we post a video. And we do post every week on Friday at 8 a.m. But yeah, without further ado, Unc, man, let's jump into today's story, man. I got
I'm
super excited story.
I'm excited.
Today's story is the paranormal disappearance of the blue-haired woman.
Blue hair already just, you know.
Let's dive right in.
Let's go.
So, on March 11th, the World Health Organization declared that COVID-19 was officially a global pandemic.
Okay.
So, this story is going to take place right around when COVID had hit its peak.
2020.
It got really bad, 2020. On March 11th, man, they finally issued that it was a global health pandemic.
Okay.
And basically, I mean, I know everybody by now should know what that means,
Yeah.
but basically it's affected enough of the world that this is now a problem.
Worldwide, yeah.
Yeah, this is now no longer a simple sickness or whatever. This is going to be a problem.
Right.
3 months after that, the outbreaks started getting worse.
Right.
And, dude, right around that time, that's when they started implementing the shutdowns, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, the shutdowns and the quarantine, the 14-day quarantines. You remember those? Dude, those sucked.
Yeah, I know. I did one of them.
Yeah, we did too. We did 2 of them,
The whole
actually.
family. I did one. We did,
We did 2 of them, bro, and it was just terrible. So, yeah, man, right around that time, they started implementing the shutdowns where we couldn't go out. Businesses were starting to shut down. They were starting to be closed. We couldn't do anything. To the average person, these quarantines and shutdowns were being scrutinized, you know, because how can you live a happy and normal life under quarantine?
Right.
You're literally stuck at home all day, every day. There's no businesses really open.
Right.
So it's like, eventually, right around this time, Monk, couples, the divorce rates were going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
They were going crazy. Couples were breaking up under this time.
The child assault cases were bad too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids are being stuck at home with
and
families as a whole, you know. It was just it was a rough time, man. Couples were breaking up, divorces were being high, and during these times, the solitude of being just alone so much and so little human interaction was causing depression to skyrocket. So
Right.
depression was going up.
Right.
It was just a rough time, man. So during these times in June of 2020, a 54-year-old woman by the name of Sandra Hughes was pondering these same questions. You know, how can we live happily under these harsh conditions?
Right.
So, man, right around her age, man, she's 54. At this time in her life really hadn't gone the way she'd wanted to, or
Okay.
as she had planned it. So, she had been married twice, but both her marriages had failed. And she also never had any children, so she always had this overwhelming sense of loneliness. She lived actually in Maui, Hawaii.
Oh.
Beautiful, you know,
Who's not,
right.
you know, why would you be depressed in Hawaii?
Right.
You know?
But I guess it's just that, you know, during the pandemic, the solitude of being alone, knowing you don't have children, you're
Right.
literally by yourself, you know, so I guess just carried that sense of loneliness for
Right.
her. So, man, most of her life, or at least most of her adult life, she never really had a home to call her home.
Okay.
You know, because she lived in Maui, Hawaii, but it wasn't long enough to call it her home.
Yeah.
It was kind of, she had been there not too long. She was an accountant by trade, but her passion was wilderness survival, which is actually what she studied in college. She always loved the outdoors, and she was a really good expert on wilderness survival.
Okay.
Bro, she was cold.
Right.
She was really good at it. She really wanted to become, since a kid, she wanted to become a park ranger. But after she graduated from college, of course, like most people, when you graduate from college, you don't always go to your
profession,
major. Your profession. So right after she graduated, you know, the park ranger thing wasn't going to pay her bills. So she just became an accountant.
Okay.
So her love for wilderness never left her body, though.
Right.
So during this time with the lockdown going on, Sandra thought this would be a perfect time to reconnect with her roots as an outdoor survivalist. And with that, she packed her bags and she sold her place in Maui and she moved to Madera County, California,
Okay.
which is a place located right in the middle of California. It is actually situated right between Yosemite National Park and the Sierra National Forest.
Okay.
So it's like right in
So
between.
there's a lot of things for her to do.
Yes, and it's kind of
Outdoors.
where she loved. Yeah, I mean, and you know, during the pandemic, man, with this lockdown going on, with all these, you know, you can't really be around people, the quarantining, the what was it, the 10-foot rule?
Yeah, the 6-foot
the
rule,
6
yeah.
foot, yeah. Can't be around a lot of people. She thought this was going to be a perfect opportunity to start doing a lot of camping and things like that.
On her own,
while she's on her own.
Yeah.
So she moved to Madera County, California, and on June 26th, Sandra had contacted her family, and she told them that she was going to be going on a solo extended camping trip in the Sierra Forest.
Okay.
And that she would get back in touch with them as soon as she got out a week later. So she went to the forest. You know, she got all her stuff packed up. She loaded it into her vehicle, and she headed off to the forest. So at some point, she left the main road that the forest was on, and she went onto like a bumpy dirt trail.
Okay.
You know, kind of off road a little bit. So she went off trail until she got to a place called the Johnson Meadows. Bro, the Johnson Meadows was a beautiful place. It was kind of like right, kind of a little bit deeper into the Sierra Forest.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful, open, spacious. Man, I'll probably try to put a picture up in the podcast right here again. It was a beautiful place, man, overlooking a beautiful tree line, and right above the tree line was the snow-capped mountains in the background. So, man, it was beautiful. So she gets to Johnson Meadows. The thing about Johnson Meadows is, as beautiful it is, it's also very dangerous. There's a lot of mountain lions, cougars, bears.
So it's inhabited.
So you got to know what you're doing if you're going to be around that meadow area. But it's worth it for her, the beauty of it all. So she gets there, man, and she starts hiking into the Johnson Meadows, and she's actually starting to look for a place to set up camp. Well, 6 days later, dog, on July 2nd, some hikers came out from the tree line of Johnson Meadow. They just kind of walked out from the tree lines. They see in the distance around the middle of the meadows, they see a campsite, with a tent put up and everything.
Right.
So it was in their line of path. So they didn't want to be rude and just walk through somebody's campsite. So
Right.
they kind of like bend it around and kind of made their way around the campsite. Well, when they got probably about equal with the campsite, they had just noticed that the campsite looked deserted.
Okay.
And so they saw kind of like trash around the area.
Yeah.
So they went to go investigate. So as they got closer, they realized that, yeah, the campsite was abandoned and it looks like a tornado ran through it. I mean, there's just stuff everywhere. There's unopened canned food. There's paperwork. There was a backpack there that had been dumped out. All the contents in it looked like it had been dumped
somebody
out.
ransacked
Like
the
somebody
whole
ransacked the whole campsite. And so they kind of made a mark of it on their map. And they thought it was odd. So as soon as they got out of the meadows, as soon as they got to where they got some cell phone service, they called the Madera County Sheriff Office. And they told them, hey, look, we found a campsite.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff there. There's a backpack there. It looks like somebody was staying there, but all their stuff is ransacked and it looks abandoned.
Yeah.
The tent's all beat up.
I mean, that's the. I would say, be a good Samaritan and call the police.
Yeah, just
and say,
make sure.
Look,
Hey,
just come check it out.
Exactly, and that's exactly what they did. So where they made a mark at the Madera County Sheriff's Office went out there, and they went to check it out. When they got there, they started going through some of the things. They found some ID cards inside the backpack, and those ID cards belonged to Sandra Hughes.
Right.
So the sheriffs got in contact with Sandra's family, and they told them, look, we found Sandra's stuff. Her campsite's a mess. There's paperwork everywhere. But she's nowhere to be found.
Right.
Her family, the remarks they gave back to the sheriff's office was that Sandra was a very big environmentalist. She didn't believe in littering and stuff like that. So for her campsite to be in such a disarray with trash everywhere, they said, no, that doesn't sound like her. So something must be wrong. So the next day, they went ahead and filed the missing persons report.
The family did.
Yeah, the family did. So over the next 2 days, they searched extensively around that area. There were hundreds of people, sniffer dogs, and they had 2 helicopters surveying around the area.
So it was a big event.
Yeah, it was a big event. So they're searching the area. They also interviewed some hikers and some campers that were in the area because, look, the thing about Sandra was she was a very distinct person. Like if you saw her, you would know, oh, that's Sandra, because right before she went on her trip, she dyed her hair blue, like bright blue. So
hence the story, the name of the story.
Exactly. So over these 2 days, man, they really didn't find anything at all. Hikers and campers hadn't seen her, but after 2 days on July 6th, Sandra was spotted. Some hikers were cutting through the Johnson Meadows. They saw a woman a little ways off the trail. She was by herself. She had no gear, no backpack, and she had no shoes on. She was barefoot. It looked like she had a bruise on her face, is what they told the sheriff's office. But they thought nothing of it, because she didn't look like she was in distress.
So these guys didn't know she was missing.
Yeah, they didn't know nothing about her. They were just hiking,
they did see her,
and they just saw her off the trail, and they were like,
sure
"Well,
she was okay."
She was bare. Yeah, they kind of like looked at her, waved at her, but she wouldn't look at them. And they were like, "Well, she don't look like she's in any distress. It's weird. She's barefooted.
Right.
She don't have no gear. She's by herself. But like other than that, she don't look like she's hurt or anything."
Yeah, but
right. Maybe they just, I'm just minding my business. You know what I'm saying? And so, they didn't think nothing of it. So they reported that she was wearing a black shirt. This is very important. You got to remember this.
Okay.
They reported that she was wearing a black shirt and blue jeans. And it looked like she had a bruise on her face. But, like I said, they thought nothing of it. So when they got to the parking lot where their cars were at, they saw the missing person flyers on the post. And they instantly, they said, that was her. We saw her. So, of course, they contacted the sheriff's office. And the sheriffs went to where they found her. But there was no trace of her, man. So the following day, on July 5th, Sandra's vehicle was found. But she wasn't in it. Her car was found at the bottom of a ravine 5 miles away from her destroyed campsite.
Okay.
After looking at the damage, they think that she hit a tree and swerved off the road and fell into the ravine.
Okay.
There was no blood in the car, though. So they couldn't tell if she had hurt herself or there was no signs of, like blood or whatever. So it looked like here's the weird thing about the car incident, man. The car was sitting at the bottom of a ravine, but it looked like the entire car was ransacked, just like her campsite. All the items in the car were yanked out, and it looked like somebody was just tossing them out of the car.
Right.
Searching through her stuff or her. They don't know. So they're suspecting maybe she hurt her head. Maybe, because they did report a bruise on her face. Maybe she hit herself and she's disoriented, or maybe has some type of injury and she's just going through her stuff, or maybe and so like an episode. And so this is what they do. They say, we're going to leave her vehicle here. We're not going to pull it out.
Right.
Because they're thinking maybe she'll come back. And they left her a note on her car saying, hey, Sandra, if you see this, please contact the Madera County Sheriff's Office. Where your family's looking for you and they're very concerned.
Right.
And the search, bro, continued, because they started searching the immediate area. It continued for days, but nothing new came up until July 12th. So 1 week after they found her car, about 2.5 miles in a straight line from where the car is found, they found a sleeping bag in the middle of nowhere. And it looked like it had been recently slept in.
Right.
And it turns out it was Sandra's sleeping bag.
Okay.
So they search around the area and there's nothing. It's just her sleeping bag. And so now the cops are starting to speculate. What it's looking like, is that from her campsite, they found the car in a straight line, and then they found the sleeping bag. So it's looking like she's slowly working her way in a straight line away from her campsite.
Being an environmentalist, she's trying to figure out due north or whatever it is.
Right, that's what it seems like. Yeah, because she's keep walking up north.
It sounds like she's disoriented to me.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
She's just trying to figure out, if I keep going straight, I'm gonna end up
somewhere.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, maybe she's just like, I'm gonna keep going. Until I find something. And so the search continued for a week, but after finding nothing else after the sleeping bag, man, the police had no choice. After 3 weeks, after a week, they had to scale back.
Right. It's not cheap.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's a lot of manpower. It's a lot of a lot of money involved. So 3 weeks later, on August 9th, it's now been 3 weeks. 2 hunters were driving down a deserted road several miles away from where Sandra's car was found. And as they were driving, they happened to turn a corner, and when they turned that corner, they were next to it like the hillsides, and there was trees all around them.
Right.
As soon as they hit that corner, one of them just happened to look up the hillside, and about 10 to 15 feet up the tree line, they see a woman. So she's just leaning against the trees. They notice that she has no equipment, no backpack, and she's by herself. And it looks like she's just staring off into the distance, leaning up against the tree. And so, they're like, man, what the hell?
Yeah.
And they drive up next to her, and they're like, man, let's check on her. Let's make sure she's okay. So they kind of drive up, and granted, she's still about 10 to 15 feet up the tree line.
There,
So they're kind of a little bit of ways away, but they kind of like, hey, flag her down. Hey, miss, are you okay? But she will not break eye contact from whatever way she's looking.
Right.
She won't even acknowledge them. So then they start calling, hey, excuse me, ma'am. Hey, excuse me. Nothing, dog. She don't look their way, nothing. And so they noted that it looked like she was wearing overalls and a floral t-shirt. And she was actually looking a little bit skinnier than the pics that was on her missing flyer poster. So, once
changed clothes.
Right, exactly. Because they didn't know. At first they were like, well, she does look a little. She don't look like she's in distress
right.
again.
Well, see, this is kind of crazy now that she has no gear, no nothing, but every time they see her, she's wearing something different.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. And so they left her because they were like, she don't look like she's in distress.
Yeah, if she needed help, she would have called out.
She would have been like, yes, I need help. Yeah, so they left her there, and that's when they got back to their parking lot. They saw the flyers. But they noted that she was wearing overalls and a floral t-shirt. So I thought that was weird. I'm like, if she had no gear,
right,
and all her stuff was at the campsite and the car, where did she get the clothes? I'm like, what the hell? So, dude, after this, Sandra's case went cold. After this, there was no more leads, no more spotting. So it went cold. here comes a crazy twist, dog.
That's what
So 1 year later, dog, on Wednesday, July 21st, 2021, Jake Gorba and his wife Victoria and his 3 kids were driving up a road to get to a place called Shut-Eye Peak. Shut-Eye Peak is a beautiful mountain peak inside the Sierra National Forest.
Okay.
And it is actually located about 5 miles south from where Sandra's campsite was found at. So, on their way up the mountainside, their kids, and I can relate to this because, man, my kids are the same way, dude. They get about halfway there, and the kids start complaining, we're hungry, we gotta pee, we gotta. So they're
everybody's
like,
kids.
So like, they're like, man, we'll pull off and we'll find one. They look for a flat spot where they can kind of pull off, and they got snacks and food packed. So as they get about halfway, like they said, the kids start complaining. They start pulling off the trail, and they find a little meadow area where it's kind of flat and kind of like an open scenic meadow. They find it, they park, and they start getting out of the car. They start getting all their snacks off because they're going to make a picnic outside of the car. So they get their blankets and stuff. Well, as they're getting stuff out of the car, their 3-year-old son, Caden, starts talking to someone. Like, they hear him in the back seat talking, and so they're like, what the hell? They look, and he's not talking to any of his siblings. He's looking out the window, and he's talking and talking and talking. So they go around to the front of the car, and he's like engaged in an intense convo.
That's what I'm saying.
With someone outside his window. So they walk around the car, they get in the front, and they're like, he's looking out into a tree line, and he's talking to somebody. So the dad and the mom get back in the car, and Victoria, the mom, she looks at her son, and dude, when they ask Caden, who is he talking to? What he said sent goosebumps and shivers down his parents' spine. After what he told them, they decided, we're not going up anymore. We're going to turn back, and we're heading home.
How old is he?
He's 3. But what he told them, and I'm going to get to it.
Okay.
What he told them spooked them so bad that they decided, no, we're going home.
A 3-year-old can spook you that bad.
Crazy, right? So they end up turning around. They drive back home. When they get home, later that night, Victoria made a Facebook post about the experience they encountered and what their son said. And that night, the Madera County Sheriff's Office saw her Facebook post and reached out to Victoria through Facebook message and said, can we please meet with you and Caden? And when they spoke to him, they left Victoria and Jake's house baffled and so confused and really creeped out. That day, when Victoria turned around and said, Caden, who are you talking to? He told his mom, Mom, there's a lady out there and she's talking to me. She said she needs our help. And he starts pointing out the window and he's saying, look, Mom, she's right there. So Victoria and Jake keep looking like, where is their son pointing? And they don't see anybody.
Right.
They're like, son, where are you pointing at? And he's like, look, right there, Mom. And they don't see anybody. So when they say, son, we're not seeing nobody, Caden starts to get worked up. He's like, Mom, trust me, please. She's right there. She's laying face down on her stomach. Her feet are in the air. Mom, she's dead. She needs help. Please, Mom, she needs help. She's dead. So Jake runs out of the car towards where Caden's pointing. He runs to the tree line. He starts looking and he don't see nothing. Caden is like, Dad, she's right there. Look, she's right there. Dude, he gets so scared that he runs back to the car and they speed away. Bro, in that Facebook post, Victoria posted exactly what her son said the dead woman looked like. He said she was wearing a black shirt, blue jeans, and she had blue hair. So when the cops saw that post, I'm getting chills right now, dog. So when the cops saw that post, they messaged Victoria and said, hey, we need to meet with you.
Right.
Because that description matches Sandra.
Missing person, yeah.
So when the cops met with Victoria and Caden, they brought a lineup of pictures of different women. And without giving any other details to Caden, they just said, would you please... What did the lady you saw, did they look like any of these? He picked 3 pictures out of that lineup, all 3 were Sandra. He said, that's her. That one's her too, and that one's her. They were all Sandra. And the other were just random women.
Random, right.
He picked all 3 of them were Sandra. So, bro, he grabbed that picture and said that was her. So Jake and Caden took the sheriffs to where they saw her. They searched and found nothing. And to this day, no one knows what happened to Sandra or where she's at. And if anyone knows anything about this case, they're encouraging people to contact the Madera County Sheriff's Office. And we'll put the number up right here. But, yeah, he picked out the exact pictures.
Okay, I'm confused now because I know she was wearing black and jeans, a black shirt and jeans when those hikers saw her. And then when these gentlemen see her...
The hunters,
she's wearing a flowered shirt and overalls. Now the little boy sees her in black
T-shirt and blue jeans. And this is the crazy thing.
So, in your idea, hold on.
No, go ahead.
In your mind, was she already dead when all these people saw her?
Dude, when I read that, that's what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, dog, is she dead? Or has she been dead?
That's what I'm saying. That she wouldn't acknowledge anybody who was trying to talk to her or get her attention.
Right.
Yeah. Because she really couldn't. Because they were seeing
the apparition of her.
Dude.
Could it been? Because she's getting spotted, but there's no trace of her.
That's what I'm saying. I don't. Wow. Never heard. I've heard of people seeing dead people but not. Well, you hear a lot about the kids seeing
Right, and you always say
because
that
they're more
kids,
vulnerable.
Yeah, they're more pure. You know what I mean? So they always say like kids can see things that adults can't.
Right.
But dog, to correctly identify,
as a 3-year-old,
they don't know at all.
Just a little bit older than baby girl.
Yeah, than my daughter.
Yeah,
dude. Like I said, without giving him any more details, dog, he picked correctly three pictures out of a group.
3 different pics.
3 different pics of the same girl.
Yeah.
And he said that's her. And dude, it's crazy because how did he describe? Now you got to remember, before the cops saw this post, before the cops talked to them, Victoria, the mom, posted that her son said she was wearing these clothes.
Right.
And that was the exact clothes she was wearing when she got spotted.
So,
and they had no knowledge of the case.
So as of right now, which is 5 years later, actually this month will be 5 years.
I looked it up. There's nothing still to this day.
No bones,
nothing.
They can't figure out why her car was down there. They never figured out why her campsite was destroyed, or
they just kind of got a bunch of empty clues, I guess you could say. To this day, they have no clue, dog. They don't know where she went.
There was no blood anywhere, no nothing. So this is like a mysterious...
Like she just vanished.
Cold case.
Yeah, it's cold. And of course, like I said, they're still encouraging people, if y'all know anything, to please reach out to the Madera County Sheriff Office. Because it is ongoing.
Right, but at the same time, nephew, I'm not saying she had money. Apparently not. Or maybe she did. I don't know.
Yeah.
But people want to leave sometimes and not come back. And I'm not saying he didn't see nothing.
Right. Oh, you were saying like maybe she faked her own death.
Faked her own death and took off, man.
That's plausible.
If she's a wilderness girl, maybe she's still living in the woods. I don't know, man. That's what we do,
we kind of dig into, trying to figure out why we.
Did she leave on her own? Because apparently we're in a pandemic at the time.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
And if there is, let's say a serial killer out there, there would have been more people missing.
Right.
So, was it a bear attack? There was no blood.
And they did so much searching, you'd feel like they would come up upon some remains.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, remains.
Something.
Or was it a cougar attack and he just bit down on her neck and just carried her away to a den. And
I mean, that's feasible. I mean, it could happen. But it's like,
I'm sure the police have gone over and over and over what we're thinking right now.
And this is more modern, dog. This just happened.
Yeah, I mean, this is not like they don't have
like the resources.
Yeah, DNA is not any help right now because there's nothing that they
they couldn't find no blood in the car. Like
cell phones probably weren't working up there.
Yeah. There's no cell phone.
So I'm sure they couldn't ping her last call, and if they did, it's probably the start of the camp, you know. Yeah,
and see, and Doc, the crazy thing is she's such an expert on wilderness survival. See, so how is she not getting back?
But then again, how long had it been since she's been in the wilderness on her own? You know, but that's what brings me back to think maybe she just disappeared on her own, man. She just said, you know what, I'm starting a new life somewhere.
Well, but I'm
not saying that's
this is where I find fault in that, dog. Well, I'm not saying that's not right, but I'm saying this is what I think. She's been bouncing around from place to place, so it's not like she can't find
a place to stay, right?
Yeah.
So you know what? But what better way of faking your death and people not knowing who you are, where you go? Yeah. Maybe she is living in California. Maybe she's in Washington, you know, because it's not far from Washington.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not saying she faked her death. I don't know. It's not a conspiracy, but it you know, there's too many theories out there.
Yeah.
Cougar taking her, a mountain lion taking her.
Yeah, you can't. And that's the thing, because we have no evidence on her whereabouts.
A bear.
You can speculate whatever. You know what I mean?
You can keep going on and on and on and on. And
dude, what boggles my mind is that these sightings, though, that's what's crazy. These sightings of her.
Well, the sightings is the first year. After that, there's been nothing.
Yeah, there's been nothing. But, dude, they're seeing her. And like you said, I don't know if it was her or could it have been her apparition, man. But
then again, if she was drug away or killed away, and maybe, you know, we have heard of stories where, you know, people died or are murdered in the house, and they're there, and they're like trying to get, you know, give a clue of how they died. Maybe she's trying to give a clue,
like in the afterlife, trying to get them to like, hey, this is maybe where I'm at, or, dude, and that's why.
It may be years before they find.
That paranormal story, dude, is so crazy to me because he's 3.
Yeah.
So what would he know about her being dead? You know what I mean? A kid don't say stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like a 3-year-old isn't gonna be like, yeah, there's a woman over there, she's dead. Like you hear a kid say that, and you're like, what the hell, dog? Like
where'd that come
shit
from?
it don't sound right. That don't sound like something a kid would say.
I understand that. I mean,
so that's why I'm like, dude, that to me, this is one of the best evidences for a paranormal experience. You know what I mean, dog?
So,
like,
apparently she's not evil. Because if she would have been
scaring him, and he wasn't scared.
Instead of asking for help, you know, he's probably like, I mean, to have a full-blown conversation with somebody that you can't see.
So now you see why they turned around and went home like, oh, hell no.
There's something out here. And it ain't no man.
Hey, not to be racist, dog. Not even to be racist. But this is the first time I've heard of white people doing the right thing in a horror situation. Hey, because you know, bro. You know white people, bro.
Well, they gonna investigate.
Hey, you be in the forest, right? And it be dark, and you just hear a woman scream. And any other race, Mexicans, blacks,
be gone.
They be like, did you hear that? It's time to go.
Yeah.
With them, let's go see what that was.
What was that?
Hey, that's why y'all always end up dead. You know, I ain't trying to be racist, but that's facts. But yeah, man. So to this day, nobody knows about her whereabouts. But
I hope someday they find her remains. Well, let me rephrase that. I hope she's still alive.
Yeah.
But if not, hopefully her remains are found.
Bring peace to the family.
Bring a little closure to the family, man. I mean, because I struggle right now knowing where my daughter's at right now in heaven, But if she would have been somewhere where I didn't know where she was at, I wouldn't be at peace at all.
Yeah,
you know? I struggle right now. Can you imagine not knowing where your child was at? Not knowing where your
child would be. Yeah, dude, that would.
That.
Yeah, that would drive me crazy. And it's crazy because, like you said, you hear these stories of where, like even like in last week's or any case where it's a true crime,
right? And
you hear your family member say, "Hey, I'm gonna get in contact with you in a week." Most of the time, we as family members don't think like, "Oh yeah, I'll hear from him next week," and you're sure of it. You couldn't imagine that something was gonna happen to your family member that you'll never hear from
yesterday. I haven't called you in a week. You haven't called me. I told her, I said, I haven't called you. She goes, I know. But, yeah, you haven't called me. I know we live in the same town and we know we're alive.
Yeah.
But if I was to be gone, I don't make a lot of phone calls.
Yeah, exactly.
So how long is it going to be before they find out that I'm missing?
Yeah, exactly.
When was the last time you talked to him? Shit, 2 weeks ago? When was the last time you seen him? A month ago?
A month ago, yeah.
We're already a month behind. So that's what happened. I think Ashley Flowers talked about this, having a going missing folder.
Oh, okay.
Where, like, you have a folder with your MacBook password, your phone password.
Oh, like the key pass or whatever.
Everything. Yeah. Everything. So when, let's say something you do go missing, they don't have to go through the companies to try to get your password to see where your phone was last pinged or so that ways you already they can just go through your folder.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like each person have their own folder that has their password.
And I think Ashley Flowers from Crime Junkie, I think as a matter of fact, you can still go on her website and order that. It's already pre-written.
That's smart. That's smart because then it gives people access into your information.
Especially people who live out of town. My kids live in Lubbock. I don't see them all the time. If something would happen to Jade or Matthew, their mom know more about them than I do. I mean, let me rephrase that. I know everything about them, but
she's more hands on. You're not there all the time.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't know anything about Jade's phone. If she was to go missing,
you wouldn't know her password.
I barely know her number.
Yeah.
So. Nowadays, nobody knows somebody's number that much.
Nobody knows numbers.
As long as we got the service, we got a number.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a wilderness person too, to a certain level. I'll go hiking, as a family or, as a men's group or whatever.
Right.
But I ain't going hiking by myself.
Yeah, I don't care how tough you are, dog. I'm not going into the forest by myself.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean, dude. Because to speak to this point of this story, but I'm saying to keep the relevance to this story, I was actually listening to during the day some scary stories, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I was listening to some scary forest stories, and dude, they were freaking me out, dog. Because there was one about a guy who set up camp in a remote area and nobody was nearby, literally in the middle of the forest. And he said that there was an old man that kept following him through the forest. And he said he opened his tent at night and he was by the fire pit. And when he saw him, he ran off. And he said that in the middle of the night, he woke up and he could hear him running around his camp, his tent at night, like running in circles around his tent. And that he said that he went out there to confront him and he couldn't see him. And he was walking through the tree lines with his flashlight. And out of nowhere, bro, a voice was like, "Do you know how to get to Stone Creek?" And he just got scared and he shined his flashlight in the distance. And there was an old man peeking out behind a tree.
See, man?
And he's like, "Bro, you're by yourself, dog. What the hell is that?" He said that man followed him for 11 miles. That he just kept looking back and he'd be walking in a nearby area.
I would have packed my bags and gone back home.
And it's nighttime.
That's what I'm saying. Did you and I go see the movie The Forest together?
Yeah, we did.
Made us jump there for a second.
That Suicide Forest?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
See that stuff like that. I'm not doing that, dog.
And
I'm not.
Hey, and it's stuff like that, that I could bring up a topic real quick that I want to talk to you about. missing people in general. Whether it's true crime, missing, just missing persons in general. I know there's a lot of trafficking of human trafficking. Yeah. But sometimes do you ever think like, man, what if these people ended up in a different dimension on accident somehow? Or like, have you ever heard of the Backrooms?
No, you told me about that yesterday.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the Backrooms?
No, what is the Backrooms? You talking about in the computer?
Yeah, no. Okay, so look, I'm going to pull this up for you. I'm going to read it to you. So, the Backrooms theory is an internet-based concept that describes a fictional, seemingly infinite maze of empty office spaces, often accessed by no clipping, out of reality, essentially slipping through the cracks of our world into another dimension, where you become trapped in a desolate and potentially dangerous environment with strange creatures lurking, beneath. And look, I'm going to show you what.
And what dimension would that be? I can picture the. The offices, yeah, I mean.
Okay, so there's a theory that I've heard a story about somebody going through, like at a mall, going through an exit door on accident, missing their, I don't know, they're going through an exit door and they walk into that office space. And every door you go into leads to another office building. And there's
so how do you get out?
Holes on, you can't, you never get out. You never get out.
So
and that's the thing.
Some of the missing people
are they in a different dimension in the back rooms? Or
there's nobody in there except
there's
creatures.
Sometimes there's creatures lurking and you can't get out. You know what I mean? There's stuff like, dude,
what is that right there? Is that a creature at the door?
Yeah, see? There's a whole movie about this they've made on YouTube, a short film. Dude, this is a big theory. And dude, this leads me to, I know we're jumping all around,
right,
but it's because this leads me into another theory. Have you ever heard of the elevator game?
Bro.
See, dog, I'm going to put you on.
What?
It's an old myth. It's like a game you play. So you go into an elevator with a certain amount of floors, and there's a sequence of buttons that you press. And if you do them correctly, you get transported to the red world or something like that. It's a whole nother dimension.
Oh, no.
And when you get there, like there's steps. Like you have to hit this button.
Right.
And then this button and this button. And then like you hit like the 5th floor. And a woman is going to get on the elevator with you on that floor. But it says you cannot look at her. You cannot speak to her. And if she speaks to you, do not answer her. Because if you answer her, she'll kill you.
I'm a man, dude. If she walks in, I'm going to look.
Like, what's up, baby?
So.
Yeah, dog. And so I'm thinking like that elevator game. It takes you to another world. What if you can't get back?
Bruh.
And now you're forever
where do you
trapped.
Get this from? I understand different dimensions. And,
yeah.
But I'm not looking at that, dog. It's not a waste of time. It's intriguing. Intriguing, but
it's one of those things. Like some people watch football, basketball.
I'm a sports fan.
And I do. I watch basketball and football. But some people, write poems in their spare time. Whatever.
Yeah, right.
Mine is digging into deep, dark mystery things.
That's crazy, Duffy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And all that to say, like, man, I bring it back to this case. Like, nobody knows where this woman went. Could she have accidentally fell into a different dimension somehow?
That's what I'm gonna say. A portal, some type of portal was and
into an alternate universe.
So when she gets a chance to come back, and she sees people, but she can't. Yeah. She can't speak, but she can speak to a 3-year-old because his mind is pure. Yeah. If I see a lady talking to me that looks dead, I'm a freaking run,
Dude, like the Sixth Sense, And it's crazy, man, because could that be true, man? There's alternate universes.
But remember, Bruce Willis didn't know he was dead in the Sixth Sense.
Yeah, that's true.
He didn't know he was dead. It was just these people talking to me.
And he didn't even know he was dead.
Right.
Or like, man, the Malaysian Flight 370. Bro, they still don't know where that flight is at, bro. And all those people disappeared.
Well, they say they found
some
parts,
wreckage.
Yeah. But was it because the portal closed the tail end?
That's what I'm wondering. How do you just that many people go missing at one time? Just completely out of nowhere. And dude, that's why I think, I know it probably doesn't have any right. You know what I mean? We're kind of far out, but I'm just saying.
What do you think of the fires in Maui, the fires in L.A., and now there's a fire in Florida of these new cities that are going to start popping up?
See, and that's what I think, dog. I think a lot of this stuff is just a land move, a land grab. You burn all this land up, and then
like they're gonna have the new stores that are coming up where as you walk out, everything's just being charged to like in China where facial recognition pay. Pay. It's got to start somewhere. I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen in L.A. or Maui or or even in Florida.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't it be in the rich part of our country?
Right.
That hey, you know what? Well, this land is burnt up. Buy it up. Build high tech stuff. All
could be.
Look at Walt D.C. here in Plainview's going robotics,
all automation. Yeah, man, all automated. I mean, dude, that's.
I know we're jumping all over the place after the story. That was an amazing story, though, nephew. But yeah, we're just jumping right now. But,
yeah. Now we're just jumping around. But man, but it just those theories I was kind of giving out to you, like the backroom theory. I'm just kind of saying like.
See, and that's your mind.
I'm relating it to this missing persons case. Right. Like, there's so many missing people in the world. Could they be stuck in another dimension and can't cross back over?
And sometimes
you know what I mean. That's crazy, dog.
Sometimes I think like that, nephew. But sometimes I'm like, there really is that many people going missing, whether they're murdered, and put it in the ground so deep they'll never be found, or being trafficked, man.
And see, and that's the thing, you're right. Sometimes, we do joke about certain things, but one thing that, we do want the audience to know is that when we cover these cases, though, we really do mean in the utmost respect.
Oh, most definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of the families that are captured. Sometimes we make light of a dark situation, right? Because that's how me and you deal with stuff. We laugh about things, but when it does come to these people,
we truly care about.
We truly do care about these people.
Like I told you earlier, I really hope that in the future they find this lady's remains.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or find her.
Some type of peace for this family.
What pisses you off?
So that's what I was just about to jump into, man. I was like, before we end today's segment, we're going to jump into it.
Nothing pisses me off, dog. What? Say it.
You're just a chill guy, man. On today's thing, this is today's things that piss me off, man. Check this out, dog. Hey, we worked our whole lives, man. We still working. Good. One thing I can't stand, dog, that pisses me off more than anything. You got your boss, man, tell you what to do, and that's cool and all, but, man, you ever have that one worker, man, who just think he the boss and he not? Man. Hey, brother, we on the same pay grade. If you don't try to tell me what to do, that pisses me off, dog. When you got a worker who act like they're the boss, man, because I ain't going to say no names, but I got people that work like that, dog.
I just sure. I'm a chill guy.
They're trying to tell me stuff like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that pisses me off, man. I hate when it's one thing to be at work and try to do the right thing, but when you got somebody who thinks they're the boss, I can't stand that, dog. Yeah. Man, we the same position.
Like, hey, man, wipe your nose, because,
that brown showing, you feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
man.
a good one there, because I'm not going to say it pisses me off, but it does aggravate the hell out of me.
Yeah,
when somebody who isn't, like you said, same
no power position. Yeah. We're in the same boat. Like, bro, you can't tell me what to do, bro. We do the same job.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And I'm better than you.
Yeah, and you're not as good as me. So
that's a good one, nephew. That's a good
man, that's one of them things that piss me off, man.
Let us know about that, people, because I'm sure we're not the only ones.
Yeah, y'all got any stories of, man, co-workers, man, acting like they the boss?
Yeah. I was just telling you that earlier. No, I was telling my people, my co-workers, a couple of them that I hang out with. That's how company loses good employees. We talked about that right before.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they lose good employees because of people like that.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's another thing that pisses me off, man. You ever feel like the good workers get treated bad, but the bad, sorry workers get treated with privileges?
Privileges, yeah.
Yeah, like, man, how you still working here?
Exactly.
And you just sorry, man.
Yep.
And I bust my butt, and the one time I do something wrong, they jump all over me.
I ain't even got a vacation yet, and the other guy that just started last week got another vacation.
Oh, hell no.
You know?
And I really enjoyed tonight, man. Thank y'all for sticking around with us, man, for this story. Man, like I said, if y'all have any new stories that y'all want us to cover, anything that you want us to talk about on the podcast, y'all hit us up, man, whether it be direct message, comments on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you see us at, man. Just comment below. We love y'all. We thank y'all for y'all support, and, man, we couldn't do this without y'all.
Exactly.
So,
most definitely.
Man, I think that's good, Unc. So, until next week, man, thank y'all for joining us for another exciting episode of Late Night Conversations with Unc and Nephew. And until next week,
peace.